There's going to be no intro joke today because this one is serious, but I'll still have to drink some courage. Cheers. Why, hello everybody. This is a video I'm really scared to make, but unfortunately the situation is somewhat critical at the moment, and I'll try to do my best to explain where I'm at and why I'm making this video. If you're not interested in me as a person or the channel or whatever, then that's totally fine. This is not going to be any proper content, although I'll make an announcement at the end. Anyway, let's have a bit of a talk. Those of you who follow my weekly navel gazings and stuff like that for a while and know the channel for a while, you probably already heard me talking about both my mental health and my financial situation. I've made allusions to that. I even made a video about it a while ago, how mental health can be very expensive, or depression can be very expensive, because you end up paying way more than other people because you forget to do stuff, or that kind of stuff. It's a bit of a fuck up, is what it is. And I've, hinted at that kind of stuff from time to time, but I've never been very explicit about it. I'll be very explicit about it today because, this just can't go on the way it has been going on for a while, and I'll try to find a way to solve that. See, my existence has always been somewhat precarious in a lot of ways, because I don't have a proper job at the moment. It's kind of difficult to find proper jobs when you're, disabled, like blind and depressed. It's not exactly a perfect combination. However, I was getting by for a long time, sort of juggling money, always scraping by. And then last year in summer, my, ongoing depression that had always been there, kind of grew very, very extreme. And maybe there was a bit of a burnout or whatever, I don't know. But I basically, all my energy collapsed in one fell swoop in summer. At the same time, there were external things that also happened. Now, the problem is I obviously run this record label, and a large part of that means being active, answering emails, going to festivals, talking to people, selling records, doing all these things. Which is not exactly easy when you have to struggle to actually get out of bed because you're that depressed. And so that already took a big hit last year. At the same time, there was just bad luck in some situations where my credit card got cancelled for not my fault, actually. But it, ended up being, I have to pay off the entire credit card in one go, which is not exactly easy to do either. And that's exactly, when I just completely collapsed and stopped talking to everyone, stopped answering emails, stopped reading emails, I didn't pay anything for a long time. All the while, I was obviously sort of in the back of my head aware of the fact that there was, bills piling up, debts that I had to pay and so forth, but I just couldn't, actually get to grips with it, which is something that I've been struggling with for almost a year now, and that was not very good, and it's definitely been haunting me for a year now. Add to that, obviously, people that are, rightfully very angry that I stopped talking to them and feel betrayed and scammed and so forth, and I get all of that, but it doesn't make it any easier to deal with any of it. I did, during all of that time, try to keep, the channel going. It's sort of been my, I don't want to say my lifeline, but certainly something that I've done to have some sort of structure, some sort of motivation to do something. Read a book, talk about it. It's fairly easy, but it's something I can do, even when I feel really shitty. However, that doesn't pay off my debts, does it? And it does, unfortunately, I talked about it, my mental health got really worse during October, November, and all the way till spring this year. And while I feel better now, there is still that big issue of money that is very much a core component of my anxieties and everything. It kind of, whatever I do, whatever plans I make, there's always this but, there's big but. And I feel awkward making this video because I know a lot of people have way harder lives and have way bigger issues with money and so forth than me. And me sitting here is I got 5,000 euros of debt and I don't know how to pay them. Feels, I don't know. it feels very entitled in a lot of ways, and I'm worried about that. But I've also come to the realization that I need to actually find some way to cut this off, to actually have a fresh start, and look into the future and try to find ways to make enough money so I can survive, which is very little in my case, so don't worry. But to have like those kind of structures in place so I will not just collapse back into nothingness like I did last year, and that's sort of the reason why I'm here today. Like there, something that happened today that I was unfortunate, which is that one specific debt that I have to pay was due a while ago, and once again, because of technical problems, bureaucratic problems that I can't do anything about, it took longer and longer and longer, and that money hadn't been paid. So the debt collector came by this morning, and well, if I don't pay in the next couple of days, they'll come back and confiscate and impound all the records that I have, the ones that I'm supposed to sell and so forth. And to put it mildly, that was not a good way to start this day. It kind of fucked me up bad. And so that's sort of where I realized I need to do something about all of this. I need, as much as it pains me to say this, I guess I need. I thought I'll just ask you guys if some of you maybe can chip in a little bit to help me get rid of that. Maybe as a thank you for like a bunch of videos that I've made. Maybe because you're super nice people or whatever. Maybe you want to help me. All of that, because yeah. I don't know how to solve the problem right now. There's like long-term things that I'll do and so forth. Don't get me wrong, but this is a short-term problem in a lot of ways, and that's what I'm struggling with, and that's why I'm here like today with this rather short and sort of video. It feels like, I mean, it is basically begging, and I'm sorry for that. It doesn't make me very happy to do that in any way, but yeah, I guess I'll start a GoFundMe. I'll link it down below. There's already a PayPal if you want to donate some money to PayPal, and there's a Patreon if you feel like giving me money on a regular basis would be something you want to do. But yeah, that's just something I just wanted to ask you for some help there. But this is where I said like the announcement, because it feels bad for me to just ask for money. I thought about something. It's something I wanted to do for a long time, and if all of this just works out, I'll just have the mind space to start this earlier and get it started with, and that is to have another series of books that I actually like and talk about them. Now, it's been a while since we did that, hasn't it? Like we spoke about a lot of Malazan in 2021, but in 2022 we talked about Wheel of Time, and I didn't like that one that much. And the one that I want to talk about, and I've been thinking about that for like 2 years basically, is The Culture by Iain M, which is about post-scarcity, which is sort of what I'm trying to achieve with all of this. And my idea is to start talking about one culture novel per week. I can do one per week if I don't have to think all the time about how to survive the next day, and fear the debt collector knocking at my door. If I can do that, that would be really cool, and I would love to talk to you about the culture. Those videos will happen sooner or later, no matter what. But with this like big rock off my back, this weight of my shoulders, I feel like I can start more or less immediately and talk about the culture, and maybe drag in some people that want to talk about the culture for some collabs, if there's some people out there that want to do that. Look at specific aspects of the series as a whole, beyond just doing individual book reviews or book discussions, because there's so much in that book, in those books, in that series that gets unfortunately still mostly overlooked. So that's sort of my way of saying thank you in advance for you guys helping me out. Is the promise for me to actually go and talk about the culture. And if that happens, you guys can certainly give me input on like how you'd like me to tackle the whole culture thing. Do you want like daily updates? Do you want like one video per book? We can talk about all of that. I'm excited to talk about the culture. And I hope it maybe makes it a bit easier to help me out with a bit of money, so I can just drop all of that weight and start fresh. That would really, really, really mean a lot to me. And once again, there's no obligation if you can't, or if you don't want to. That I totally get it. Most of this is basically my fault. I understand that as well. Most of it is basically my fault. and then there was a bit of dumb luck, of bad luck, and I get all of that. So if you don't want to reward my laziness, my inability to live a structured and regular life, then I totally understand that too. But maybe if you feel like, hey, I enjoyed a video that you made or two, maybe you just want to, I don't know, pass me $1 or two, and I'd be really, really, really grateful for that. Anyway, that's it for now, and yeah, there'll be regular content again in the next couple of days, and I hope things will be a bit more happy then. And until then, thanks for, all the support, sticking with me. I do appreciate it, no matter how much you do. I do really, really appreciate everyone liking, watching, commenting. It means a lot, and it has certainly kept me, well, if not sane, then at least less distraught than I could have been over the last 2.5 years. So I'm very, very grateful for that, no matter what. Anyway, thanks, and, well, cheers.